Continuing. Only a few more of my words, then I'm leaving you here, in this valley, with Lorenza, her family, and their daily life. I leave you on your own, without my biases and prejudices, without my words. You get to invent the stories before I tell you mine. I will be back before a half hour passes.
¿No te dijeron a qué hora te vas a ir?
La hora, pues, las 9.
A las 9.
Las 9, pues.
Oh. Ahorita,
Voy a comer unas 20 tortillas y ya me voy.
20 tortillas.
20 tortillas. Y ahorita me voy a mi cajita. Al ratito ya hice mi salsa bien rica.
Si la tumbaste al suelo.
Anda.
La familia.
Toda la familia.
Ya.
Chilaquiles.
¿Nada que inter?
Bueno, se va. Métele el lumbre al comer.
¿Cómo no voy a comer? Para que coma mediodía. ¿Qué tal si ya se sabe?
No. Si no está lejos, sería.
¿Eh?
Ahí nomás.
Sí, pues, pero
No creo. Bueno, a las 10 se van a entrar. Van a venir.
ándale.
Pero no pasan sus hermanos, se van a ir de pierna.
¿Crees que va a ir?
Van a ir. Como ya ayudó también.
Ya. Cuando voy a llenar, tengo que ver esta ropa.
Así de pegando.
¿Se va a quedar este o no?
¿Cuál?
Este.
Sí. O si no, no. Llévatelo. Cuélgalo. Ahorita vengo a traerme.
¿El jabón? ¿Lo llevo o ya lo paso de acá?
Ujú.
Ya. ¿Ya? Bueno, hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy Lisbeth Rivera de la Cruz. Nací en el estado de Guerrero. Tengo 26 años. Y ya.
I think this is right. I think I did the wrong button first.
Me gusta este.
Ahorita.
Their casa y Sami. Sami. Their their arbolita or arbolita. Adorar es arbolito con estos.
Espera.
Camarones. Ya, camarones, sí. Muchos camarones. Con de tortilla, pero tortillas allí y solamente caldo y camarones. No, no, Nadia. No, no. See if I can. Okay, there's the pot of camarones. The sopa. Okay. Oh, pasta? Oh, okay.
Esta.
Okay.
A ver, ¿dónde está?
No,
Ponete. Nećem koji diskete, preske neki kaltiske.
La cuchara. De paso me va a salir. Déjame acá, poquito, poquito, no le pongo mucho.
Ne, pa și mă te la puiec. Vegan tale? Ne cum cu queso?
Ya, ya, ya. No, digo yo, si no quieren mucho ustedes, pues. No, porque no le echo yo, le pone ella. Pues. Órale, toma.
Coche.
Tayalo.
Sayalo, me quería tomar
Kaya
uno.
matuteno nga kwa. Puro alcohol ito. Sabes ka?
Aquí no.
Tatamado lang ang chulis.
Ah, bien.
Bendita eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre, Jesús. Santa María, Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, Señor es contigo, bendita eres entre todas las Santa María, Madre de Dios, Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia, Señor es contigo, bendita eres entre todas las mujeres y bendito es el broto de tu vientre, Jesús. Venid pecadores, venid y con la cruz, adorar la sangre.
¿Qué macho? Cafecito, cafecito.
Pásase el otro ahí.
Llegar tarde. Pues al cambiarse de un pueblito a una ciudad es muy difícil, porque pues uno no está acostumbrado y al momento de salir fuera, conocer una ciudad grande, da miedo de pensar que te puede pasar algo, de pensar de pensar y no conocer a nadie, de personas, no saber ni a quién hablarle. Es muy difícil adaptarte a ese lugar y más si estás sola. Se va acostumbrando, se va adaptando al ambiente que es y Y pues más que nada estando sola, pues uno aprende. Uno aprende la idea de que sea como sea tiene que salir adelante, sea como sea tiene que sobrevivir a esa vida nueva que ha tenido y que va a tener. En una ciudad fácilmente puedes encontrar cualquier cosa que a uno se le antoje comprar. Y en cambio en un pueblito es muy difícil de conseguir las cosas.
3.98, 2.98.
Tengo la posibilidad de obtener las cosas fácilmente. Teniendo un buen trabajo, me pagan y pues cualquier cosa que yo necesito yo en cualquier momento lo compro. Y en cambio si yo me regreso a mi pueblo, pues o sea ya no es igual. ¿Por qué? Porque no tengo trabajo.
Favor de pasar al servicio. Favor de pasar al servicio.
Teniendo la manera de ganar dinero, yo preferiría vivir en un pueblo, la verdad. Pero en cuestiones de que no hay dinero, es por el cual que uno debe de hacer el sacrificio de vivir en una ciudad.
Tienda electrónica, Pedro, alinea de cajas por su mercancía de checado.
58. Thank you. Voy a grabar otra.
Amiga, corridos nos tengo que grabar hasta corridos.
No, es que están muy delgaditas, quién sabe por qué.
¿No recibió?
Luego si tú dijiste que hay piscinas. Ay, que me han tocado allá. La cama
Simple uno, con razón.
In the spring of 1992, I volunteered with Piccoon, a farm workers union with several thousand members headquartered in Woodburn, Oregon. I help workers tell their stories and experiences on video to be used for public education and advocacy by union organizers. It was an eye-opening experience. I visited the labor camps where farm workers and their families lived during the harvest season. I could not believe that right here in our Willamette Valley, such exploitive conditions existed.
Did you get that feeling that it was like they were like a captive workforce?
Quiere ella grabar un poco pues para enseñarse a los compañeros, a los demás gabachos, pues cómo es que vive uno aquí, cómo lo tratan a uno, para poder a ver si
workers.
We want you guys out of here.
We're going to call the police.
In June of 1995, Picun invited me to work with others to record on video Picun's 10th anniversary organizing campaign. It was a valley-wide effort to increase what workers were being paid in the strawberry harvest.
In Oregon in 1995, workers and their union, Pecun, once again mounted a struggle against low wages and terrible working conditions.
On the road. Come on. Hey, don't step on the berries. Vámonos. Yeah, they walked on their... Vénganse, compañeros. Hey, come on, let's go. Vámonos. Vénganse, compañeros. Okay, Ramon. I'm on...
The next morning, which was Monday, June 5th, Pecun received a visit from 3 workers at the office in Woodburn. At Glen Zielinski Farms, over 85 pickers had walked out of the field. They made this decision on their own. Now they were calling for help.
I was with organizers and activists from Pecun when we showed up to support the strikers at Zielinski Farms. With my poor Spanish, I went down the line of strikers asking what was happening. Manuel stepped forward.
Compañeros ya venían decididos. Ya cuando empezaron a llamar a la gente que entrara a trabajar, nadie hizo entrar, nada más quería entrar un poquito. ¿Sí?
¿Y qué hacía el ranchero?
No, pues estaba amenazando a toda la gente. Les dijo que si no querían entrar, que desocuparan el lugar y también el campo, ya que se salieran con todas sus cosas. Ya.
¿Cuánto tiempo han estado en su campo esperando para empezar?
2 semanas ya. Sí, y es el primer día que está empezando a trabajar.
You tell my people that I still want them to work for me if they will work for me. I don't want to strike, but if they don't want, but I'm not going to negotiate with Pecun.
Platique con ellos son los representantes de aquí. Por eso los llamamos. No desanimarse, ¿sí? Porque nosotros mismos estamos viendo con la propia vista de que hemos logrado algo. ¿Sí? Entonces, compañeros,
pues hay que dar otro paso.
hay que estar unidos. ¿Sí?
Entonces, todos en favor de 15. Que alce la mano.
De 15 para arriba.
Que alce la mano.
15.
A mi modo de ver las cosas, a como marchamos, si este señor es racista, nos desconoce como mexicanos, ¿sí? Nosotros también tenemos un sentimiento, ¿sí? Como mexicanos somos seres humanos, tanto como a él lo estamos respetando, nunca le hemos destruido algo que son cosas propias de él.
The strikers held out for longer than a week.
On the 4th day, the strike was broken. Strikers stood along the side of the road and watched as contractors brought other pickers in to harvest the strawberries. Of course, the newcomers were picking for the same low wage.
The Zielinski strikers were reimbursed for the rent they had paid during the 2-week waiting for the berries to ripen. It was a small victory, but a victory nevertheless. When the picking and harvest season was over, Manuel came to Portland. I secured a place for him to live in the home of dear longtime friends Rick and Charlotte Rubin in northwest Portland. Manuel was an experienced restaurant worker and soon found a job close to Rick and Charlotte's. When he wasn't working, Manuel was in class learning English.
Texas, New Mexico, Nevada, Oklahoma, por acá Arizona. Aquí está Washington. Allí está Luciana.
In addition to sending money home regularly, in less than 2 years, Manuel was the proud owner of a second-hand car and had saved enough cash to contemplate a trip back home.
Qué feo suena mi carro.
¿Cómo?
Qué feo suena mi carro. Lo descompuesto.
Will you bring me back plenty of money?
Yes. Yes, Tom.
I begged him to take me with him. I told him if he would take me and the video camera, I'd get the money to buy his airline ticket. It all worked out, and on the 10th of December, 1996, we were on a flight for LA, the first leg of La Vuelta, our journey back.
Can you focus that close? Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Whoa!
When we arrived in LA, a very dear friend and my mentor in film, Tom Smith, met us at the airport.
Mm.
We spent several days with Tom and Elaine to do some last-minute gathering of equipment. Batteries, an extra microphone, mosquito repellent, and other production necessities. Tom and Elaine drove us to the border. Manuel and I crossed easily on foot and made our way to the bus station. The Tijuana bus station was pulsing with Mexican nationals, returning from the U.S. to spend winter months with their families in Mexico. In spring, they would return to the U.S. to pick fruit and vegetables. La Vuelta, or the return. The low prices of American food depends on La Vuelta, that these workers keep coming back. We were not headed for the village yet. Manuel had planned to visit Don Vic. Don Vic is a curador, a healer, and now lives just 200 miles south of Tijuana in San Quintin, Baja California. Manuel told Don Vic of the bad dreams he had been having since living in the United States. Don Vic suggested una limpieza. He permitted me to record the cleansing.
Manuel Rivera vitinda vitindicora. Cesare ga kunisa vitigoni a comita chini wa goni a comita chini da chinda qua da chito ta chige da chito ta chishi da chito ta chitasha. Ta chito mi ta chikata ta chikwino ta chikon. Kivini a kondon de sabe, goni a kondon de sabe. Yo shino da chi, yo shino si. Vitingo tone vitingo kya, vitingo quita kiti vitingo quita questi vitingo kishane ko yivi kita ko va no ni ra ki vi ni ra ki kuya. 100,000 kuyanira yonji kora yonji bi chena gona ka yonji bi yonda kura yokuni shusha ka oni shusha na gona ka yonji bi yonda kura yokuni se ka oni se bitin yo gotone yo ki ba yo gotone chi no de ni sa ki ten le sa ko sira de ndo ma binda le no shara bitin gotone bitin kya bitin ondi chi no shino to shino ta chi yo ko ibi ko ta ko banga komesa ko ya ti ko ya kashi ko ibi ko ta no de ndo sini de ndo sita de ndo ni sa ma yo le mane ke wa na sini sitara bitin gotone bitin kya.
After our stay with Don Vic, we returned to Tijuana, flew to Acapulco, and caught a bus first to Chimpancingo, then to Chilapa in Guerrero. We stopped there for Manuel to do some buying.
A 117. O sea, le sale 117 entre 25 a 4.60 y así le sale a 5 pesos. Digo, es un poco la diferencia, no mucho.
¿Son 5?
Sí, 5 kilos.
Órale. Y me los pones en una cajita, ¿no? ¿Cuánto cuesta? 23 al kilo, ¿eh? El kilo. 5, 6, 7, 6, 7.
Me voy a dar una caja más.
Pues qué significa? What's the number 7? I noticed you bought 7 of everything, Manuel.
The number 7? Because I have 7 family. So, 1 bag for each family, you know.
Siete. Okay.
The next day we rented a truck with driver to take us the final 75 miles. In Zapotlan, we unloaded Manuel's purchases at an uncle's house, paid the driver, and began the final 3-mile walk to the village of San Miguel de Quixapa. For me, an amazing 6 weeks followed. Manuel, thank you for that experience.
Mi amigo también, Tomás. Y ya tengo mucho tiempo que no he venido hasta ahora.
No. Pero pónmelo bien, pues ha de estar chueco.
Ese es mi papi. Papi.
Ese es mi papi.
Lorenza told me recently that when she married Manuel, when she was 13 years old, she thought she had finally arrived. Everything would be perfect from then on. She laughed. I watched the girls getting to know Manuel. Ana was only 4 months old when Manuel left for the United States.
Enchilapa.
Ele vai passar qual que esteja, né, que tem tranca, e fala que frio, vou parar aqui, cabo a toca check, cabo já de você e eu
I fell in love with Manuel's grandmother.
Es que copulan.
Tem este cara lá, e este cara lá, e este o lugar até capa com este cara.
Boleh sontak kakak ni kan ke kuas pulang kan.
Nanti tu dia
Tá lá, que foi xixi.
His grandfather was an inspiration. In his early 80s, no mountain was too high, no road too long or load too heavy.
Ajá.
¿Cómo se llama este Mariana Baltasar?
Ajá.
¿Cuándo se van a ir? No, pues le digo, me parece como mañana, vamos a ver. Como dice, qué rápido dice vinieron. Qué rápido se van. Y qué rápido se van. Luego dice, cuando se patines, de hecho, a Huichilin,
The village was a place where it was rarely necessary to say no to a child. There were no cars to worry about, no strangers on street corners. Everybody knows everybody and keeps an eye on the kids, but rarely intervenes in their activities. There was no entertainment from the outside world. Some days a news program from a Mexico City radio station or popular music might play over the village loudspeaker, but no television 20 years ago. I loved being in a place where around any corner you might find yourself eye to eye with a pig or turkey, cow, sheep, dog, duck, or donkey. It was the first place I had ever been where there was no money. A liter of corn was currency. So many liters of corn could buy a chicken. I'm sorry I never asked the exchange rate. There was much about the way of life that was very beautiful, but not to be romanticized. Life in San Miguel was not easy. The everyday work of survival looked hard and sort of boring to me. I remember thinking at the time that I understood why Manuel left the village, why many of those young men on the strike line had gone north. Manuel left to secure his dream of living with respect in the modern world and supporting his family accordingly. The time came that we had to return to the U.S. I went ahead to Tijuana. Manuel spent 2 more weeks before following me.
Pero lo voy a quemar. Porque eso...
Está bien. It was Lisbeth's move to Hermosillo several months earlier to live with her Aunt Vicky that prompted Manuel's early morning phone call to me. The call came 3 weeks before the presidential election of 2016. It was raining. Manuel knew I was suffering for the ugliness of things being said in the election about Mexicans and illegal aliens. Call me. I have an idea for un pequeño vacación for you. Before I could return his call, he was at my house to take me to breakfast and tell me his plan. He explained that Lisbeth had just moved to Hermosillo. He wanted me to go to Hermosillo and spend some time with her on his behalf. I was taken aback. I wasn't sure what he wanted me to do or why. Several days later, Manuel called again. He had spoken with Lorenza. Lorenza invites you to the village, Tom. He offered me $1,000 to cover expenses. I was easily persuaded. It was a great chance to make another movie. I accepted $800 from Manuel, and dear friends on short notice contributed another $4,000 to cover expenses and to pay Lorenza and the girls for their willingness to have a camera pointed at them. This time, Manuel would not go, but he suggested that perhaps Charlotte Rubin, with whom he had become close friends over the years, might like to make the trip to the village too. I asked Lisbeth to help us find some gifts Charlotte and I might take to Lorenza, Ana, and Pedro.
No veo qué.
Excepto Color Show, Baby Lips, Supernatural y Pure 3D. 20% de descuento.
Voy a la bolsita, le voy a regalar poquito porque ya nos vamos. Se cayó, se torció, se golpeó.
My idea, Manuel, was to do a little home movie for you.
Es la chile, Ami. ¿Cuánto lleva? Este que lleva.
I know you have not seen Lorenza or the girls for over 17 years. I thought a few pictures now would help a little to fill in what has been lost. I realized that was sort of silly. A few pictures, yes, but filling in for time separated, no. That is lost.
Sí, este va a ser para Ana.
Ah, bueno.
Sí.
Lo abrí mal. Voy a llevar
Lorenza and Anna didn't want to speak on camera, but Lisbeth had several things to say.
Bueno, lo que más recuerdo de mi niñez, pues que teníamos una familia muy grande. Desde pequeña, pues nunca tuve mi familia completa porque pues mi papá nunca estuvo con nosotras. Pero pues a pesar de todo, salimos adelante. Mi mamá puso todo su esfuerzo para que saliéramos adelante. Ella fue como papá y mamá. Y pues ahora aquí estamos. Ya estamos grandes. Ya sabemos lo que hacemos. Y gracias a ella, pues aquí estamos.
Que dice, ¿qué para qué le levantas la bocina si de que ya no habla?
No, estaba sonando. Lo que pasa,
Yo por eso.
Cuando levanté la bocina, aunque le decía yo, bueno, no me contestó.
Yo por eso ni me doy, no sé ni cómo. Ya estoy como Don Alejandro. Don Alejandro habla a otro lado. ¿Ya? Voy a utilizar el teléfono.
Ándale. Yo pues le intenté.
Bueno, ahorita te pones tu brazo. Ayuda.
algunos pues que cada ventana con la que hay aquí. Pero la de España que como que era húmeda. O es para que los que no calla permanente más acá. No jugar, señoritas. A ver. Venir, venir. Magas una vuelta de cerrito.
¿Qué hay calabaza? 2, 4, 5.
¡Globos! A ver, amigo. Uy. Ajá. Uno cada quien de su tiempo. Por favor. Yo ya quiero conocer movimientos. No crean que estoy tan gordo, ¿eh? No peso, soy peso pluma. Sin tematite. Sin tematite.
I was deep into editing before I did a little Google research about Las Posadas. Posadas is Spanish for lodgings or accommodations. Missionaries and other emissaries of the Catholic Church who accompanied the conquistadores devised a little play and celebration to introduce Christianity to the indigenous people of Latin America. The story of Joseph and Mary's search for a secure place to spend the night and give birth to the child Jesus coincided with Aztec celebrations during the winter solstice. For 400 years, between the 16th and 24th of December, reenactments of Joseph's and Mary's appeal for a place to stay are played out in many villages, towns, and cities of Latin America. The words to a traditional Las Posadas carol, "Pray give us lodging, dear sir, in the name of heaven. All day we have been traveling. Mary, my wife, is expecting a child. She must have shelter tonight. Let us in. Let us in." "You cannot stop here. I won't make my house an inn. I do not trust you. Your story is thin. You two might rob me and then run away. Find somewhere else you can stay. Go away. Go away." After many rejections, Joseph, Mary, and the pilgrims are finally invited to rest. "Joseph, dear Joseph, how could I be so blind? Enter, blessed pilgrims, my house is your own. Though 'tis little I can offer, all I have, please call your own." Statistics from the 2015 Mexican census about San Miguel run through my mind as the celebration unfolds. 198 inhabitants, 103 men, and 95 women. All are indigenous people, and 80% speak an indigenous language. The innkeeper-in-chief of the United States has declared America closed to poor and brown-skinned immigrants. No room here, he shouts at the pilgrims. The census makes no mention of the 12 men and 2 women from San Miguel who live in the United States. There are 52 dwellings in San Miguel. 97% have electricity. 50% have piped water. 77% have toilets. 41% have a radio. There are 18 television sets, 7 refrigerators, 3 washing machines, and 2 cars. No computers in 2015. The landline and a cell tower were completed after the census. I remember how delighted you were, Manuel, when you bought cell phones for Elizabeth and Anna. You could talk to them anytime, night or day. Christmas morning. No sign of Santa Claus in San Miguel. No brightly wrapped packages. No stockings stuffed with candy. But yes, one more meal together.
Ya no tiene ojos.
I missed your grandmother and grandfather. I remember how difficult their passing was for you. You were not able to be in the village to support them or even attend their funerals without losing everything you have worked so hard for in the U.S. Overall, San Miguel has not changed much since our visit. The people are lovely and very generous. The animals are still quite free and ready to surprise you anywhere. As I have said, 20 years ago, it was how little money there was, how limited the possibilities to do something or be somebody that struck me, that felt claustrophobic. Now it is 20 years later. The world has changed. I have changed. I see the village, as I continue studying the video, differently than before. The simplicity and low carbon footprint of life in San Miguel offers a powerful example of what the modern world must aspire to and achieve if life is to be modestly livable in the future. A sustainable simplicity. The folks in San Miguel are not unhappy, so far as I can tell, or at least not any more unhappy than any of us living in the jaws of modernity. Manuel, I am sorry for the wall, the border that has separated you from your family, and millions of others too. I feel deeply indebted to you for the gift of your friendship and all the things you have brought to me that have made my life ever richer. Thank you.
In between these difficulties, you get more experience, you know more, because in our life we never finish learning. Always something new.
Your story is one of courage and determination that reflects the very best of the American dream. I am sorry that telling more of your story now would put you in jeopardy.
Get up early in the morning, go take care of your animals, your cows, sheep, goats, all that. And coming in the United States, completely, the life is different lifestyle. You have more opportunity for getting by working, because not like to get it easy, but you have more opportunity to get.
Me viene siguiendo. Ay, mi hijo loca. Me viene siguiendo, dice. Sunset.
La mayoría de los que están de aquel lado tienen familia en México. tienen familia en México y que los que están allá apoyan a su familia. Y para que de un día para otro él cambie las cosas, pues los afecta mucho. Y pues, o sea, todo lo que han trabajado, todo lo que han sufrido ellos, se les va de las manos así de un cerrar de ojos.
Lorenza, thank you. I have learned a great deal watching you. Everything you do is done with love and as if it were the most important thing to be doing at that very moment before moving on to the next thing.
Chalma. ¿Qué te ayuda a motivar? ¿Qué te ayuda?
You are one of the wisest and most centered people I have known.
Bueno, ay, la verdad sí. Es muy difícil no tener la familia completa. Porque como saben, tener una familia es tener un papá, una mamá y los hijos juntos. Pero, pues, no soy la única. Hay muchos que pues no, o sea, no tienen una familia así junta por cuestiones de dinero o por otras circunstancias también. Y es muy difícil vivir así. Porque al momento de que, como saben todos que siempre un hijo necesita una madre, un hijo necesita un padre. Como todos necesitamos de todos. Y